Hey Tube, what is going on? My name is Andrew, aka the Black Dragon. This is Black Dragon Studios, and I'm back with another episode of Doomsday Last Survivors. In today's video, we're going to be doing kind of I don't know what the word is for it, kind of a spin-off, I guess you could say, of a video series that I've been noticing pop up more and more recently, like maybe weekly, on one of my favorite YouTubers' channels. If you haven't checked out this guy, he's also a Doomsday YouTuber that makes very good content. Go check out Chris, TheHighGuy. I can't remember his last name, but he always says it in his videos. His channel name is TheHighGuy, and yeah, just makes this video called Garbage Day pretty much every week or every 2 weeks now, featuring some of the most degenerate and nasty individuals that he comes across on these servers of Doomsday. It could be anybody, scammers, just rude people, or just ignorant people. And today, I'm going to carry on that tradition of what he's been doing. I wanted to give him credit. I did message him and ask him permission. I'm sure he'll message back and say yes. If not, I'll probably just redo the whole intro and not call this Garbage Day, but I'm really hoping that he'll agree to me calling this video Garbage Day, because there's not a more perfect title for the story I'm about to share with you guys of what happened today, actually. But it's a story that has a lot of context, and I'm going to share all that context with you. I'd actually love to do a collab with TheHighGuy, so if I'm not doing the collab and I'm posting this video, it's because he didn't want to do the collab with me. But I'm more than happy for him to do this video as well. Actually, I would have preferred if he did this video, but I'm more than happy to do it myself. But yeah, so basically, I'm going to give a lot of context because it's actually me in this situation, believe it or not. Um, it's a situation that's been happening now for quite some time. I've just been noticing with my I should say former alliance, because they're not my alliance anymore. You see them here on the screen, RAEM. So basically, the story behind me joining this alliance was I was having trouble just kind of alliance hopping. I had just started playing the game and just started getting a lot of interest in the game. And my first alliance that I was in wasn't really a competitive alliance. It was just a beginner alliance. I think the highest might in my first alliance might have been like 50 or 70 million. Like there was nothing in that alliance. So I started to take the game seriously in that alliance. I started to actually like catch on with everything that was going on in this game. I like games like this where you can build heroes, level up gear and stuff like that. Having a Raid Shadow Legends background, if you watch some of my previous videos, I used to be a part-time Raid content creator, but it didn't really work out because honestly, like Raid is a kind of a dying game, honestly, at this point, and I don't enjoy posting about it as much as I do posting Doomsday videos. And you guys seem to love them, so I'm gonna keep posting these Doomsday videos for you guys. And we got a banger for you guys today, man. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And to all the current subscribers and the ones that are here, maybe watching the videos that aren't subscribed, welcome back, man. And hopefully you guys enjoy the video. So it's going to be a long one. Grab some popcorn, grab your favorite drink, do whatever you got to do, kick back and enjoy the video. So basically, the whole storyline for me joining this alliance, this RAM alliance in server 645, was I got to a point where I basically made a video one day, stating it was an update video, and I got invited to this server by by a different alliance. I'm not going to talk about that alliance. That's not what this video is about. I'm not even going to shed any light on that situation at all, because it's long over, and hopefully just we can all move on from it. But basically what happened in that alliance was it didn't work out. There was just too much differences for us to be able to, work out in that alliance. So I ended up moving over. I ended up leaving that alliance. I ended up moving over to this alliance here. This is the other big quote unquote big alliance in the server that actually had healing bots. So I decided I'm just going to give these guys a chance before moving the server because I don't want to waste all these resources. I have a lot of resources on me. I can change servers and give up all these resources, or I can give these guys a chance and see how they are. So I did that. I joined the RAM Alliance, making sure that they had no connections with my previous alliance, that they didn't have any direct ties with my previous alliance. And I can get into that in a later video at some point, but I don't, again, I don't want to. The last thing I want to do is gossip. The last thing I want to do is bring that alliance into it because they honestly have nothing to do with this situation other than maybe the reason I'm here. The only thing that I can credit FTD for in this video is they're the reason I'm in this server to begin with. If it wasn't for them, I would have never been in this server. And that's no knock against FTD. It is what it is. Things don't always work out in alliances. But in the end, there was no love lost. Like, it was a mutual decision. I didn't want to be there. They didn't want me there. So we just cut ties and it was off to RAM for me. Now, enough of that. I know that first part of the video isn't really that juicy, but it gets better. But I cannot, you cannot understand what I'm about to share without any context behind this. So I have to do this. So bear with me. So basically, I joined RAM. Things were okay for a little while, but I started to notice right away that, let's just take a look at the members and stuff here. Okay, the first thing I noticed when I got here is I looked at the accounts and I looked at the, I looked at the accounts. Like, that's what you always do when you join a new alliance, right? You take a look at the accounts and you check out the hero equipment and all that. Uger's got 184 million might, 251 million kills. Decent rider main. Like, by no means is he going to be one of the best players in this game, but if he actually worked at his account and played more often than he does, he would be a good player. But the first thing I did when I got here is I messaged people just to let them know, like, hey, hello, I'm joining your alliance. I think that's out of respect, right? Because I wasn't invited here. I just kind of applied to be in the alliance, and yeah, so I just messaged a few people, said hello, nothing serious, just small talk. How are you? Nice, just keeping it cordial. And they accepted me in, and, I started to get to know people. Some people are still here to this day, others aren't. Many of the R4s and the R5 is still here from when I started. I think it was roughly 4 or 5 months ago, if I remember correctly, that I joined this alliance. A lot of things started happening. I started noticing a lot of things about this alliance right off the get-go, that they don't speak the same language. So there's a little bit of a language barrier there in terms of, like, the translator. A lot of these people speak Turkish, and the translator has a really hard time translating Turkish. That has nothing to do with what I'm going to be talking about today, other than the fact that it's very hard to understand people speaking Turkish when you're English speaking like I am. The translator very rarely picks up the correct sentence. So right there, the language barrier I noticed was going to be a huge problem. So I just kept it short and sweet. Very rarely would I speak to the Turkish people unless I would just speak directly and to the point, straightforward to the point, and make sure that there was a general understanding of what we were talking about before moving on. So let's say we weren't the best of friends, but we also weren't enemies, or so I thought. I came into the alliance with the attitude, I'm going to be an ally to these people. I'm going to help them. I'm going to do my best to help this alliance and give it my honest shot at making this alliance work, right? So that was the attitude that I carried into this alliance. I didn't bring any of the FTD drama into this alliance. In fact, I talked to the leader when I joined the alliance, and I made sure, I said, do you guys have any ties to FTD whatsoever? Do any FTD members reside in this alliance? Because I noticed in FTD there's a lot of members that just move around constantly, or they have shelters in multiple different alliances on this server. So I made sure that there was no connection in that way to FTD. Therefore, there would be no future drama. And that's really what I wanted to do. I wanted to separate myself from the drama that I was experiencing in FTD, because I don't want drama. I'm not a dramatic person, but I will deal with issues as they arise. I'm not just going to ignore stuff and sweep it under the rug, right? Because this is, after all, in my humble opinion, 90% of it is a political game. This is a political game. If you can't handle the politics of this game, then there's no reason for you to be playing this game. And if you want to get involved in the drama of this game, then you're responsible for the outcome of what happens, just like I'm responsible for the outcome of what happens when I post videos like this and such. But I feel like I'm justified in posting this video today, and you will see why soon after. I'm just giving you guys a basic backstory of this alliance right now. So as I played with this alliance, the first thing I noticed with this alliance was they have a lot of people with a decent might. They have a few T6 players here and there. One or two of their R6s, or R3s, sorry, are T6s. Like Sainty, Ruben Wan Ott. Ruben Wan Ott never plays, never does anything. But anyways, moving on from that, I'm really not trying to bash people that don't deserve to be bashed in this video, because we're gonna be doing a lot of bashing in today's video. I'm getting there, trust me boys, I'm getting there. But I can't do it yet, because without context, me bashing people for no reason at all is gonna make me sound like the asshole. And maybe some of you, even after getting context, will still think I'm the asshole. So be it. It is what it is, man. I'm doing this for you guys. I'm doing it for content and no other reason. But this is a very real situation, and everything that happened in this video is being told exactly as it happened from my perspective, and exactly with video evidence and proof of everything that happened. So you guys can make your own decision afterwards. But the second thing I noticed about this alliance when I joined the events with them is that they had no presence. They had no field presence, very little field presence when it came to competing. Very little. There was no rallies. There was no garrisons. If you watch my last video, you'll see exactly what I mean by that. The rally and garrison in this alliance does not exist. It's just not there. So when it came to competing with this alliance, it was very difficult. It was very challenging for me because I've spent a lot of money in this game. Like, I'm not the type of person that just wants to spend a bunch of money on something and then just sit there and stare at it all day. Like, you know what I mean? If you spent $1,000 or $2,000 on a bike, for example, and the only thing you were allowed to do is sit there and stare at the bike, wouldn't that just piss you off, like, to no end? And that's pretty much how I felt here, because a lot of these people are pretty much low spend and or free to play players, save but for Uger, who spends quite a bit of money on this game, and that's about it. There's really nobody else in this alliance who fights that spends a lot of money in this game. Now, the third thing that I noticed about this alliance was that there's a lot of dead weight. So there's like people like Spider-Man, Cool Tech, 58. There's another one here. She's not here right now, but she's another R4. Belanaya, Uger, dead weight in most of the events. Most of the events they don't even participate in. Ruben Wanot. Pretty much every single person here. Baby Boy, Ingtazi, Tolga, Donkey, like Gusty. Every single player pretty much is here is pretty much dead weight in all the events. I hate to say it. Like, they show up sometimes, but they're not there for most of the big battles. They're non-existent. So, and others might disagree with me when I say that, but oftentimes we'd be fighting like Genesis War or Island Raid or something like that with like 5 or 6 people online. Yet we were registering into maps that are pretty much all T6 maps. So it was just not fun. I gotta say it. I'm a T5. I'm going to get my T6s in a few months, but it was clear to me when I first got here that, you know, there's a lot of rebuilding to do in this alliance, and I know I just said a lot of things negative about the alliance. So why would you stay here, Andrew? Well, the point I'm trying to make is I saw a lot of potential, believe it or not, in a lot of these accounts. I saw a lot of potential in a lot of the accounts, actually. So I saw a lot of potential in guys like Vulcan. I saw a lot of potential in Snow, Abella, um, Sainty, to when they're one day with even with the low amount they spend on the game, their accounts are pretty solid for where they're at, and they're with you know what I mean. They are very close. Snow and Abella are very close to getting their T6s. Mr. Miyagi just got his T6s. Vulcan's had his T6s for quite some time. Uger's had his T6s for quite some time. So they're on their way, but they're just not quite there yet. Again, go back to my previous video and watch the disaster that was Island Raid if you want to know exactly what I'm talking about there. Moving on from that. So the point is, I expressed my concerns to them throughout my time here, just kind of pointing out things that I saw happening or not happening. I talked about the might issue. I talked about the dead weight. I talked about maybe trying to find some ways to improve that. Maybe we needed a change of guard in terms of the R4s, because like I said before, half the R4s don't even play the game. Like, dude, half the R4s in this alliance don't even do anything. 58, I see him never play an event, maybe one or two events, every other event just sitting out. Uger, sitting out for 75% of the events. Cool Tech, never see him play the events. Spider-Man, where are you, buddy? I've literally never seen this guy play an event. Bellanaya, I don't even think she's in the alliance right now. I don't know what happened to her. Maybe she just didn't want to play AR and she just left the alliance for a couple of days or something like that. But she's an R4 and she never ever plays in the events. She dead weight, complete dead weight. So half of the R4s in this alliance are complete dead weight. Okay? So there you go. Right there, there's an easy fix. Make them all R3s and get some new R4s. Like, that's the easiest fix that I've ever seen. I know it's not as easy and it's more complicated than you think. No, it's really not. It's really not. You have to do what's right for the alliance, and in this case, this alliance is struggling for to reach its full potential, and that's why they have people that are there doing absolutely nothing with these huge might accounts, doing absolutely nothing, completely just taking up space. And if you want to be competitive in this game, yeah, it's great to be social as well, but if you want to also be social and competitive, you have to make competitive decisions and get over your pride of keeping people in that aren't good for your alliance. So I threw my hands up on that one and I said, you know what? I'm going to try and build up a rally account. I'm already doing it anyways. I noticed that most of this alliance is in infantry and I am a rider main. So I'm going to build up this crazy rider account, and that's basically been my goal since day one to begin with. So I'm building up a rider rally. I'm very close to being able to actually compete with my riders. Maybe give me about 4 or 5 more months and I'll be probably at a 4.5 million Rubina fully awakened and transcended rally. So I know that's not super huge, but in this alliance, that would have been the best rally that they've ever seen. So needless to say, I was probably the second biggest spender in this alliance, if I have to be honest. Maybe the third, but I don't know. So there's a little bit of history of this alliance, and I started to notice some behavioral patterns as well, especially with the R4s like Mr. Miyagi, Vulcan, Uger, noticing Abella, like noticing just the way that they react to situations when certain things don't go their way. They just lash out They get extremely angry, they act like children, and they start calling you names or they start belittling you or try to make you look really small or ganging up on you, like whatever they got to do, um, laughing at you, like just to make themselves look better. So we're going to go into some situations here that transpired as a result of me leaving the alliance today. I actually left the alliance. Jumping forward to today or yesterday, I received an offer from Carnage in MDGR to go join MDGR because I talked to Carnage after that island raid from last video, and there was no intention of me joining MDGR. I was perfectly happy to remain in our AEM and continue helping them grow and hopefully getting them to a place where we had a rally and we had a garrison that was enough to compete in these events, at one point, maybe hopefully within the next 6 months. But we got to talking, Carnage and I, and he's a pretty good guy and seemed like a really nice guy. So I told him about the problems that I was having here, regarding the rallies and the garrisons and stuff like that. And he ended up offering me a position in his alliance, which I felt was an offer I couldn't refuse. I mean, you've got a really strong leader with a very good account, and he actually plays the game. He's not AFK for the events. He actually plays in the events. So, and he's got nothing but fighters in his alliance. Anybody who's going to be in that alliance is going to be participating in the events. So they have a competitive alliance, which is just where I'm at. That's just where I'm at with my account. I want to be competing at events. I want to be growing my account, and I don't want none of these childish games, man. I'm 35 years old. I want to be in the alliance that is best for me. And yeah, I made that decision. I said, you know what? It really didn't take much thought, honestly. I mean, with all that had been going on, the childish behaviors and the rude behaviors that I was noticing from people, and I'll get into more specifics later on in the video, as to why these people are degenerates, and I'll show you prime examples of why I think this alliance needs to be called out on the carpet today in this very video, and I will, because what they did today was absolutely asinine. So, and it's funny. It's really funny because I never expected this from them. But at the same time, I'm not shocked that they were the ones to do it. Now, let me give you guys a little context before going into this whole thing, okay? Generally speaking, they try to uphold the peace in this alliance. They're all about peace and love. Don't attack others. They always have markers up when people leave the alliance that aren't going to be participating in events, that stay on their property. Don't attack shelters, etc., etc. So I'm just telling you that because it's going to be funny once I tell you what happened today. I'm sure you kind of can already guess because they're being featured in this type of a video. Depicting what degenerate people they are, but they need to be humbled, so I'm going to be the one to do it. So here we are today. I leave the alliance, okay? I did try to pull some of the best accounts with me. Actually, I made an offer to Snow. I knew it was probably a long shot to get Snow to come with me, and I was going to get Snow, the people that I actually wanted to take from this alliance, with me, and just honestly leave all the dead weight behind. I wanted to take Snow, I wanted to take Abella, I wanted to take Sainty, and that's about it. That's about it, man. Everyone else can go bite the dust for all I care. But Snow declined that offer, not surprisingly. He wasn't very happy about the fact that I was going to be leaving the alliance. Although he wasn't rude about it, he expressed his displeasure. And honestly, Snow, at this point in time, is completely off the hook. Snow is completely innocent in this situation. and he has done no harm. Snow is the first ever member, the founding member of this alliance, and he's honestly been a great leader in this alliance, and I think he's going to go places in life. As for the rest of them, well, we're about to find out. So I left the alliance. I moved my shelter away from the Anapede hole, out of respect for them, so that I wouldn't be blocking their progress toward the Anapede. I moved, here's where the Anapede hole is, and I moved all the way back here, and I moved my farm all the way back here, and I just left the alliance, and I joined MGGR this afternoon, probably at around, I'm just going to ballpark it because it's really not that important, probably at around 1200. I'm going to use this clock right here for the timeline. So probably at around 1200, I left the alliance. I moved my shelters back. I didn't think there would be an issue at all. I didn't think they'd even care that much that I left, or really say anything at all. As you can see here, there's a lot of places, a lot of people that have shelters on their property that aren't currently with our AEM, that aren't currently a part of the alliance, but they just leave their shelters here and our AEM doesn't attack them. And they're here all the time. They're just here 24/7. They're active. Some of these accounts are actively farming on this land and we don't attack them. So as soon as I left the alliance, I ended up getting a message from the leader. The leader, I'll show you who that is here in a moment. Let me see if I can pull up the conversation. So I have it all recorded on video. So let's see. Here's the first clip here. And I'll use my mouse. So watch my mouse as like the directional pointer here. So basically this here is our last conversation. This was from another time. This has nothing to do with today's conversation. So I get a message from Abella moments after I left the alliance. Why did you go? And the plan was that me and one of my friends from a different alliance, we're going to go over to MDGR for AR, which is like 2 days from now. We're going to go over to MDGR, try it out, and if it's not good, we're not going to go. But if it is good, which is likely what it's going to be, then we're going to change servers after we burn all of our resources in AR. We're going to transfer over servers to go be permanent members of the MDGR Alliance. So that was initially the plan. Well, plans changed after this conversation with Abella. So she says, why did you go? I said, I'm going to go to MDGR for AR. She says, okay, good luck. I said, thanks. And then I noticed I was in my farm and I noticed that got scouted by Abella. Like literally moments after we had this conversation, which I thought it was done. I'm going to go over to MDGR for the AR and that's it. There's going to be no further talks, no further conversations. And that's how it should be. Like, I'm not under contract to be in this alliance. There's no reason why I have to be in this alliance. And I was under the presumption that if I left this alliance, that they wouldn't have an issue with me being on their property because I've never given them a problem before, other than opening my mouth to voice concerns and stuff like that, which is like a perfectly normal part of an alliance. But other than that, I've never given them any issues. I've always shown up for events. I've always done events with them. I've always been right up there in the front lines fighting with them and trying to help them, you know, new players, trying to help them and stuff like that. So here's where it starts to kind of go southward for REM. Okay, so they scouted my shelter as well. They scouted my main account as well. And at this point I started to get suspicious because like I already have known enemies in this alliance. By this point, I have had two very clear haters in this alliance, Volcan being one of them, and Mr. Miyagi being the other one. I'll tell you the story behind Mr. Miyagi first. So, Mr. Miyagi is one of the R4s with T6s in this alliance, Turkish speaking. I'll show you guys Mr. Miyagi just so you know who I'm talking about. So, here's Mr. Miyagi, 127 million might, 67 million kills, pretty good hero gear, decent infantry, T6s, whatever. He just got his T6s like a week ago. Him and I got into an altercation in a previous AR because I left my shelter on like I left my shelter on the line between being outside of the alliance territory, like right on the line where it divides between not being in your alliance territory and being in your alliance territory. I put up a shield, a 24-hour shield, because I didn't know when I'd be back online, but I was still in the alliance territory with a 24-hour shield. I came back online and Mr. Miyagi started harassing me, saying like, you left your shelter unprotected, and he was getting really pissed off at me, and he was just not listening to me. I was telling him like I had a 24-hour shield up, plus I was not even off the territory. I was just on the line, dude. And he was like, he just went ballistic on me. He wouldn't stop talking, so I just told him, I basically just told him off. I was like, dude, I'm like, we're done. Just stop talking to me. You know, go fly a kite. You're not listening to me. You have no clue who I am and how much I've invested into this game. If you're talking to me like a freaking child, get out of my face. And that was the end of me and Mr. Miyagi's relationship. Like, we never were friends before that. We never spoke really much because of the language barrier. Like, I just can barely understand what he's saying when I'm using the translator. No knock against him. I see him talking to other people, and he's generally a very friendly person with other people. But for some reason, towards me, Mr. Miyagi always just gave me this like snappy attitude, and that was just kind of the straw that broke the camel's back for me and Mr. Miyagi. And after that altercation, he threatened to kick me out of the alliance at the end of the event and burn my shelter. So I told him, I was like, if you do that, there's going to be severe consequences. And we never spoke again. And I told the R5, and it was done. There was no burning. There was no kicking. I was just told Mr. Miyagi just, hasn't slept and might be a little stoned. That's all they told me. And they told me not to worry about it. So I said, okay, let's just forget about it. Pretend like it never happened. It's not that big of a deal. It was just a misunderstanding. And I just tried to diffuse the situation. So that's Mr. Miyagi. And then the other reason why now that I was a little concerned about this scouting is because recently, in the most recent Alliance League that just passed, Volcan and I, Volcan 35, this guy here. So this guy here, Volcan 35, we were competing for first place in Alliance League, and it got a little heated. I'll get into the more specifics of that later on in the video, because you're going to see what Volcan goes and does to me after I left the Alliance. So him and I are basically on a standoffish kind of a thing right now, because I destroyed him in Alliance League. Basically what happened was I noticed that he was using missions that, like, he was 100 honing chips, spend 100 honing chips to get like massive points. He was using all these like ridiculous missions right at the end of the day to try and catch up to me, because I had amassed a 2,000 point lead on him, and I was planning to win the event, because I'm very close to awakening my Rubina. So I wanted to get those extra fragments. I noticed that he was coming up close on me, so we started going at it for a couple of days until we both reached about 10,000 points each. He won the previous Alliance League with 11,000 points, and we were already at 10,000 points, the both of us, by day 3, and there was still like 2 or 3 days left to go in Alliance League. So I sent him a message. I made him a peace offering. I said, if you let me win, because we were literally dead even, I said, if you let me win this Alliance League, I will let you win the next one. And you already have second place guaranteed for this one. You can for sure have first place in the next one. I will not compete against you. And he has always won Alliance League. He's always the one winning Alliance League. So he knows that he's not going to have anyone competing against him other than me to win Alliance League. So if I'm out of the picture, then he doesn't have to worry about anyone else. He can just easily glide to get first place. Well, he declined the offer. He said no. He didn't think I could beat him. He said, no, I'm not taking your offer, is the long and short of it. He said, I'm not taking your offer. You can go fuck yourself, is basically what he told me. And I'm going to win the event. And that's the end of it. And I said, okay, I have the chat logs. I'll show you guys later on today. But that's essentially the long and short of it. I ended up splattering him all over the wall. I won by 5,000 points. He gave up on the last day. And I won first place in Alliance League, and he hasn't talked to me since. Until today. Well, he still didn't technically talk to me, but he hasn't interacted with me since that day. So that's why I got very suspicious when Abella, the leader of this alliance, started scouting me today. And I questioned her on it. I was curious. When I asked her, why did you scout my shelter? She goes, I was curious. Smiley face, looking suspicious already to me. Did something go wrong? As if trying to like play Miss Innocent here with another smiley face. And I said, no, it's just unusual to have someone scout your shelter. Both of them. No worries. When I said no worries, I immediately put up a 24-hour shield on my main account. Because my main account has over 1 billion worth of resources, and I need these for AR. And I'm not transferring servers to go to MDGR until after AR. At least that was the intent. So I'm going to stay here. And my understanding, before I realized that I should put up a shield, is these guys are, their whole MO is to not attack people. They'll have like 5 alliance markers, one here, one here, one here, and one here at all times that says do not attack shelters. Because I guess they've had problems with people attacking shelters in the past because they have so many people leaving their alliance and just leaving their shelter on their territory and not moving and not replying to messages that they had to put these notices up so that people would stop attacking, because some people were probably getting attacked that shouldn't have been attacked. So the point I'm trying to make to you is I knew at this point that something was up. So I put up the shield and I left it alone. And I said, okay, the shield's up. I burned my farm. There was like nothing in it anyway. So I just burned my farm, collected the resources from my farm, and I moved them to my shelter. And we'll continue along with the conversation here. So Abella responds with to my unusual to scout someone's shelter comment with 3 emojis eating a watermelon. I have no clue what that even means whatsoever. So there you see, it shows that I had put up my peace shield for over 3 hours at this point. This is when I decided to start recording as well, because I knew then that something was going to likely occur. So I replied with a watermelon. I didn't know what else to say. So I just replied with my own watermelon. And then she said, you went to the enemy alliance, with a disgruntled look face. So I decided, okay, it's time to tell her the truth. She's obviously a little salty that I left the alliance. And that's to be expected. I was a good alliance member. They should be upset to lose me. So I'm not tooting my own horn here and saying I'm the greatest alliance member ever, but I put in work, man, for this alliance. I was there for them the whole time, day and night. So I told her, your alliance is not competitive for maybe another year. I want to win now. I've played, and I meant to say I've spent thousands of dollars to play this game, only to get tossed around like a rag doll for a year. I've just got over a year like last week. So, and I've been in this alliance for almost half the time I've been in this game, and I'm ready for a change, man, but clearly they aren't. So it's time for me to go. So, and then I said here, there's what I've already told them. There's far too much dead weight in our AEM right now. Half the R4s don't even participate in events, and many of the R3s just sit out for events. So she goes on to reply, you made a mistake by choosing the MGDR alliance, and they are competitive. Secondly, despite spending so much money, you are really weak. So she instantly lashes out with insulting the MGDR alliance as to like say, like a question that's actually a statement says MDGR is competitive. Like they aren't competitive. If you go watch my last video, you'll see the full experience of MDGR. They're competitive. So I don't know what she's talking about there. They have a 7 million Chasey Felix rally garrison. I don't know what she's talking about. She has no clue what she's talking about. She'll only ever see Felix Chasey 7 million in her dreams. So I don't know what she's talking about there. Secondly, this alliance, in the entire time I've been here, has never won a single event. They've never won Genesis War. They've never won Island Raid. They've never won AR. The only thing that they've ever won was a recovery of Pompeii. Like, alliance isn't competitive, that has one of the biggest, like, I wouldn't say one of the biggest whales, but a gigantic account that has a massive rally and garrison, that has a very reliable leader, is not competitive. This guy has 1 billion kills, yet they're not competitive. Have you lost your mind? Secondly, despite spending so much money, you are really very weak. Not once did I ever say I was tough. Not once did I ever say that spending money equated to might or strength. Never once did I say that. All I was saying by saying I've spent a lot of money in this game and I'm ready to play. I don't want to sit on the sidelines and watch all these other alliances trounce us every fucking time we step onto the battlefield. I'm filling up my hospital nearly instantly because all we ever do is get mismatched against these ridiculous opponents because of their stupid deadweight accounts that bring all this excess deadweight into matchmaking, and we get fucked for it. So I'm stuck filling up my hospital trying to get points for every single event, burning through hundreds of millions of resources, while these people just sit here in the back of their minds insulting me and laughing at me the whole time, thinking I'm some joke. Well, you know what? The joke's not on me at the end of the day. The joke's gonna not be on me. So here we go. Let's continue here. She goes, not everything can be perfect, but we won most of the events. And we are an average alliance. So already she's lying. She's again telling me that we've won almost every event, when the truth is we've never won an event. I don't know what event she's talking about, but I don't have any experience of ever winning an event with this alliance. The only times we've ever actually done anything in an event is when we alliance with someone strong that can carry us and protect us to that second place. But it's not a win. That's a second place, dude. And you didn't win. You got allowed to be second place. There's a big difference between winning and being allowed to have second place. So she goes, we never said we were perfect. And I'm just laughing at this comment because I'm just reading. I mean, this is the whole reason I'm leaving the alliance. She's just bullshitting through her teeth at this point, saying that they've won almost every event. If you go back to my last video, you'll see what their rally is. It's a fucking Aduke Miyamoto. Like, that's their best rally. That's the best thing that these people can come up with. these 188 million, 200 million Might accounts. That's the best thing that they can come up with is an Adute Miyamoto rally. Like, give me a break, bro. And then they talk shit about me because I try telling them the truth, and they just reject my statements and start talking shit about me. Like, I don't understand it, dude. Trying to help you here and you're just fucking throwing it in my face, but okay, let's continue. So then she'll say, if you want to see a competitive and active alliance, you can also create a clan. So now she's giving unasked for advice, like telling me I can create my own alliance when I just joined an account that she could only ever dream to obtain. She'll never have that account ever in her life. And she's telling me to start my own alliance. Like, what are you doing? So yeah, I'll go start my own alliance. Great advice there. With my 94 million weak ass account, yeah, I'll just go start my own alliance. You sound really mad. I said, you sound really mad taking shots at me now, completely unprovoked. I'm telling you why I left, and you're telling me I made the correct decision. That's basically what she's telling me here, is I made the correct decision to leave, and there's no reason for me to return. I said, keep crying. That's your problem. You don't know how to handle criticism. And it's the truth. I mean, she doesn't. And it's made clearly evident in this conversation that she's not able to handle any amount of criticism about her own actions. And I said to her, so no wonder why no one wants to play in your alliance. You guys have a 188 million whale. I was referring to Uger here. And honestly, I completely forgot about Volcan here. I don't know why Volcan comes into the equation later in the video, but the only people that I'm mentioning in this comment is King42 and Uger. So here we go. You guys have a 188 million whale. That's Uger, who doesn't know his head from his ass when it comes to rallies. And a 250 million whale, King42, who uses Adute to rally. Like, what the fuck, dude? You also have no one to fill your rallies, so even if they were good, you would still lose. And it's true. Like, I'm just spitting facts here. I'm not being rude about it. I'm not being condescending. I'm just literally telling her what's wrong with her alliance. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not repeating it over and over. I'm just literally stating it one time and moving on. So she goes on to give me a unicorn emoji. Like, okay, that's really mature. This is said by the person who goes to the alliance that lost the election. So that's the translator there. Basically what she's trying to say is I went to the alliance who lost in the previous IR. So let me tell you what happened in the previous IR, okay? MDGR got ganged up on by 4 different alliances and ended up losing AR. Yeah, our IR. Yeah, sure. Yeah. I'm sure if just about any alliance got ganged up on by 4 different alliances, that they would have a good chance to lose that event as well. But they sure shit on your alliance, didn't they? Why don't we just all go back and check exactly what happened in my previous video, and we'll see who lost that battle. But okay, let's move on from that. So she starts laughing hysterically, and then says, 1, instead of going to the clan that is winning, she's referring to her alliance again, going to a losing alliance. So again, she's completely lost her mind here. The alliance that ended up winning the IR was, their alliance name is _O_. I have no clue who they are. I didn't talk to any of their members. I had no intentions of moving alliances because of that IR or anything. Yes, it was embarrassing that we lost the IR in such a fashion, but at the same time, I was just like, whatever, we lost the IR. I congratulated Carnage. I said, man, you got a fucking wicked account. I have a Rider account. I can only aspire to be something even half of what that account is one day. And that was kind of where things started. Like, that's kind of where our conversation started between Carnage and I. I had no intention of going in and asking him if I could join his alliance. We just happened to talk and become friends over that conversation. It's what happens in the game. That's the whole point of the game. You meet people and you talk. That's the game, dude. So she says here, a perfect choice. Again, condescending me using passive aggressive remarks to try and soothe and try and cope over the fact that she's losing one of her best alliance members here. I know I'm not that strong now, but give me like 4 or 5 months and I would have the best rally in this account or in this alliance by far. So she knows exactly what she's about to lose here and she's coping. So again, LOL, unicorn emoji again. I'm just like at this point, okay, she's completely lost her mind. I said to her, just follow my YouTube channel and you soon see who's winning and losing, my friend. You always know where to find me if you want to actually learn something about the game. I may be weak, but at least I'm not delusional as weak such as your bunch. So yeah, I'm gonna bite back a little bit here. I'm not just gonna take this from her. I'm gonna shoot back a little bit. I'm not gonna take this from her. So, and I said who I may add has not won a single event since I joined. So I'm again referring to her alliance. They haven't I'm not going to say it again. They literally don't win. They're just losers, dude. They don't win events. They're currently losers. They will one day be winners. Maybe a year from now, if they work on their accounts and, build up some superheroes with some actual good garrisons and rallies, maybe they will be good if they can actually get people to fill those rallies. But as long as they treat people like this, no one's going to want to play in their alliance, dude. She goes here. Someone should have their eyes checked. Or he was sleeping at the time. Again, disagreeing with me that she never wins events. She's saying that she does. I don't know what event she's talking about. I have absolutely no clue where she's going with this, but I'm interested to find out. And then I said, she gives me eyeball emojis. I said, it's funny you act like this now, showing your true colors as a person. I really like that. I was just being sarcastic. Like, I was hoping that she wouldn't be like this, but here we are. All of it's coming out right now. Didn't care at all while I was here, but now that I'm gone, it all comes out. Even though everything I'm saying I've already told you before. So she already knew how I felt. Didn't care. And then she goes, in response, of course, she's not going to take that from me. She goes, friend, do you know what your problem is? According to you, only you are right. The truth is you. Everyone is wrong, but you are right. We play this game for fun. Message number 6. We are not perfect, but we are an average alliance. Message number 7. I don't think you should take this game so seriously. Message number 8. I'm the one taking it seriously. She's sending me 45 messages. Okay, let's hear it. I always told the truth. I told you this too. Okay. I don't hesitate to say my own thoughts. Did I not care about you? And I'm going to stop and just say, like, generally, she did seem like a very caring individual. She seemed like a decent human being. She seemed like somebody with a lot of potential as a young leader, somebody with an account on the verge of getting T6s. She'll have a 4.5 million Stella rally probably 4 to 5 months from now, which will be very good for the infantry side of this alliance. But their problem is that this alliance is run on all infantry. They have no riders. They have 0 range. They have 0 riders other than me. I'm going to be leaving, so now they're going to be stuck with Uger, who never plays, who's a rider main that never plays. He plays like 1 out of 8 events, and that's it. They're stuck on riders, so they have no riders, no infantry, or no ranged, and their entire alliance is just field fighting with infantry, Adutes and Miyamotos. Like, it's absurd. It's absurd that she's even stating this stuff to me right now. So I'm typing back to her. Let's see what I say here. I don't even remember what I said at this point, 'cause so much was said today. Honestly, not even sure how or what to respond to. I told you I was just doing AR with Carnage. You went off the deep end about the fact that I made a new friend, because that's essentially what she did. Without really saying it, that's exactly what she did. But now I'm definitely leaving. Whether it works out or not with Carnage, I'm definitely leaving after this AR. I am switching servers. I don't care where I go. It's just not going to be on this server. There's nothing left for me here on this server. So after this AR, I'm gone. And I said, you're just taking shots at me for absolutely no reason. I might add, she came into my inbox and questioned me. It's not like I left the Alliance and said on my way out, oh, by the way, you guys suck. Like, that's not what I did. I wanted to just leave in peace. I didn't want there to be any of this dialogue. But since we have the dialogue, I figured let's just go with it and see what happens. I'm going to try and make peace with them on the way out and hopefully leave with some allies. You know what I mean? That was my intention behind starting this conversation with her in the first place. So, believe it or not, I'm actually trying to diffuse the situation right now, but I'm also playing into it a little. I noticed that I am playing into it a little by saying some things as well, but who wouldn't, right? I mean, it is what it is. We're only human. We got to, say a few things from time to time. So I said, I honestly have no clue why you're acting this way. Now, where was this all along? Like, this level of care and concern all of a sudden coming out of nowhere, like, it just blows my mind because there'd be times I'd say things or make suggestions that just flew right above their head or just got ignored, or I would say things that just completely got ignored. There'd be other times where she'd be the only one that actually did care out of everybody. But in the end, if this is how she truly felt the whole time about everything, then it's all just a game, right? I've been forthcoming and truthful the whole time with them, and that's how I am with everybody. And I'm not doing it to make myself look good. That's just how I am. You'll see that in the rest of this interaction. You can be the judge of it for yourself. And that's not what it's here for. I'm not showing this to you guys to try and make myself look good or bad. It's basically just for your entertainment at this point. But it gets worse. So let's continue with this. This is continuing of the conversation. So she said, I also told you that it was strange for you to choose that place. Again, she's referring to the MDGR Alliance. And I also explained to you in response to the statements you made about my alliance. So she's again just trying to justify and defend herself and the comments that she made earlier in response to my comments about her alliance. And she said, and keep this in mind for later, okay? This is foreshadowing. I didn't attack you. I saw you as a friend. I only expressed my grievances towards you here. I guess she means here as in like in this conversation. She writes here, it was a kind of complaint that happens among friends. And I accepted their criticisms by saying that we are an average alliance in my explanation. So she's just explaining herself at this point. I really don't care. There's no need for an explanation at this point. I'm just trying to like end the conversation in peace, and that's it. But she just wants to keep talking, so I'm just letting her go. I said, look, Abella, this wasn't planned, but the things you said to me in this chat today does not make me want to stay here. It just made me want to leave even more. The concerns I've expressed regarding your alliance are valid. Some of the things can be fixed right now, such as cutting all the deadweight, reworking the R4s, but you won't do that. When someone you care about is wanting to leave your alliance, you don't mock and belittle them in chat. You listen to what they have to say, which I think is fair to say to her. She just definitely needs to hear that, even though it's not what she wants to hear. And I said also, I think I'm being respectful to even be having this conversation with you. Most people would have just left without saying anything. And again, I'm recording this all just because I can kind of see where this is going. I don't want it to go there, but if it happens to go the direction that I'm thinking it's going, which is it actually does, surprisingly, it goes way worse than I could have ever imagined. I want to have it all recorded for content, right? Because it's great content. I wasn't going to put just this conversation on because honestly, it comes down to just her voicing her concerns with me, which isn't a big deal, but it becomes a big deal afterwards. So she's getting pinned in this as well. So she says, in response to the concerns I've expressed about the alliance and changing up the R4s and cutting the dead weight, she goes, I know I've thought about this too, but there's nothing to be done right now. If there were another way, I would do it too. That's why I told you, in order to understand my situation, you first need to be a leader and experience this for yourself. Well, funny enough, I actually am a leader in my real life. I actually have a leadership position that she's completely unaware of. So I am a leader. She just doesn't know it, and I don't talk about it on the channel because it's not necessary. But I do have a leadership position, and I'm very aware of what it takes to be a leader. And she's being a very bad leader by what happens in this whole situation. So just the way she's talking to me, rude, belittling me, mocking me. And then she does kind of change her tune toward the end, but it's not genuine, and you'll see why. And I already know, so I protect myself and I'm ready for it. But I'm going to stop. I'm trying to build up the suspense for it, but at the same time, I realize like eventually I just got to get to the point, right? So here we go. Not everything is as easy as it seems from the outside. You know, whatever. You're just making excuses. You don't want to make changes to your alliance. And that's really the long and short of it. Like, you don't want to change your R4s. You don't want to cut the dead weight. That's your problem. But don't expect me to want to be a part of your alliance. It's that simple. Yeah, so she says, I didn't say anything wrong to you. So I just went back there and I just looked at all the examples of things she did say wrong, mocking my new alliance, telling me that I'm a fool for thinking that they're competitive and that I'm weak and all this other stuff, lying about how they win all these events. Like, yeah, you did say a lot wrong to me, actually. And it only gets worse. So, well, I listened to you, but the person speaking sarcastically first is you. I never said anything sarcastic. Like, I don't know what sarcasm she's talking about, but every comment that I've made in this video has been completely straightforward and direct, blunt honesty. I have no clue what sarcasm she's talking about, but if you guys could point it out to me, that would be great. I don't see any sarcasm that I've used in this conversation so far with her. And she goes, I'm also, by the way, guys, I'm also doing this in chronological order. So everything that I'm saying is happening in real time. This is exactly how it happened in real time. So the sequence of events. So she says too, I am also behaving quite respectfully. I said, you sound a little more calm and adult-like now, but at first you came across as childish and rude. Anyways, let's not drag this on any further. Clearly your alliance needs some work, but I trust you will sort it out eventually. But this is an opportunity that I cannot pass, and I hope you understand. And that was the end of the conversation for a little while until she replied again. And then she goes on to say, it was actually you who gave the impression of being childish and rude, not me, again, pointing the finger when the finger's already being pointed at her, just pointing it right back at me, which doesn't help her at all. It's not making me want to remain in the alliance at all. It's just everything she's doing is just digging the hole even deeper at this point and just confirming that what I did was right. I was actually joking with you because you went to the enemy alliance, so apparently that was sarcasm, but I was the one being sarcastic earlier, and now she's going back and saying that she was using sarcasm when in reality she was the only one in this conversation that was using sarcasm in a serious moment, which is obviously not a good thing to do because you're just going to confuse people and piss people off, and it's just going to create more problems. So that's why I don't really do sarcasm unless I'm trying to just basically piss the other person off. Apparently it was a joke. I didn't perceive it as a joke. Um, she just kind of came into my chat all guns a-blazing, scouting my shelter and blah blah blah. Like, what are you doing, Abella? So, and then she goes on to say here, so we have never been friends. Like, I don't even know. I'm not responding to that. Like, it's just ridiculous. She just starts going off again here. Like, I'm always someone who jokes like this to my friends, but okay, it seems I shouldn't treat you like this. Like, I don't see her on my friends list. She's never been on my friends list. We've been friendly toward each other. I've tried, having deeper, meaningful conversations with her at different points of knowing each other, but she always just pushes people away, and that's one of her bad things about her. She just shuts herself down and pushes people away and doesn't want to, talk about personal life, and that's fine, whatever. Not a big deal, but don't think that we're friends if you're not, like, you just want to be game buddies. Like, we're not friends, dude. That's not friends. I'm sorry to tell you. You're not a friend. Like, if you were a friend, you wouldn't be talking to me like this. So from now on, if we talk, I will act formally towards you with a very sinister looking smile. I can already see right through that is not a genuine smile coming from her. I know she's really pissed off, and there's no smiling on her side of the screen. And then she goes, and in response to my comment, I just want to end the conversation and not drag it on anymore. And she goes, I respect everyone's decision. Good luck, with another fake smile. And I just gave the cat emoji, just like the, you know, I didn't respond to anything, all those 8 messages she just sent. The one about us not being friends and the one about her being sarcastic. Like, I didn't, egg her on any more than she already is. I just want to end the conversation because I don't think it's going anywhere. And yeah, I'm done with it. So I'm ready to move on. And that's it. I think that the situation is over. I'm hoping that it is anyways. But the next thing that happened here, you'll see I had full energy, and as you can see here, it's basically down to it's down like 25%. I had just sent out 5 marches to go kill some zombies, and I instantly noticed, like, dude, you have to realize I haven't done anything. I've just been sitting here chatting and or AFK, like watching my other screen, doing other things. Like, I'm not even playing the game for hours. And I just bring my troops out for literally 3 seconds. All of a sudden I see Vulcan speedily marching up with the full march of a Duke Miyamoto heading right toward me. Again, Vulcan 35. We all know Vulcan hates me at this point. Vulcan's ready to go. So I'm like, oh shit. Thankfully, I'm right near my shelter. Here you see him turning red. He's trying to attack me. I tried to go into my farm, but I realized it was not a good idea to go into my farm because we're not in the same alliance. So instead of attacking my farm and creating battle fever for my account, which would have been disaster, I just went back into my shelter and said, yeah, he's going to kill a few of my troops here, but it's better than having them all die. So here he goes, attacking me, dealing 2,200 damage per basic attack to my Nora Akemi March of all T5 ranged with no gear on. And he just stands outside of my shelter. And I couldn't believe it. Like, the alliance that prides themselves on peace and not like being dramatic, and all of a sudden this guy is attacking me. So I went right over to Carnage immediately. He laughed at my comment that I had said that Abella's super butthurt about me leaving the alliance. And then I just replied to him by saying, yeah, just basically summarizing to him what is going on over here, just in case anything does happen, that he's kept up to date about it. And I said, yeah, just rude and belittling comments toward both me and this alliance, this being his alliance. Absolutely asinine behavior from the leader of an alliance. And the funniest thing she said was, you'll never win with them, basically, which was basically what she said. Funny because we haven't won a single event since I joined RAM. Like, not a single event. But she knows who's going to win and who's not going to win, right? Again, if you go back to my previous video, you can see Carnage, or I'll show you Carnage. Like, this is Carnage's account, okay? This is the guy that she is claiming is not going to ever win an event. So here we have Carnage, 256 million might, 913 million kills. He's got full level 10 rider gear with a white part, all red parts on his backpack. He has just yellow parts. I say just because it's not red or white parts. but he's also got a 7 million Chasey Felix pairing that he can use to garrison, rally, or fight in the field and does massive damage. So again, she's just coping at this point, just reaching, and just really doesn't have a leg to stand on in this argument. So I said to him, now one of their members is trying to attack me. And Vulcan, you see here, he's marching back. I have all of my marches in. So I decided to just make sure that he wasn't like, he was legitimately wanting to like attack me. So I brought out another march. Here he comes speeding back right away to try and get in another hit. But he can't get through my shield because I was smart enough to put up the shield earlier so that they couldn't do anything to me, because once you're getting attacked by someone, like once your shelter is under attack, you can't move your shelter until it's done being attacked. So if he was to prospectively start attacking my shelter, not only could he basically destroy all of the troops in my shelter and kill a lot of the troops in my shelter with just that one march, that T6 Adut Miyamoto march, which is not that great, but it's against me, it's really good. Because I don't even have any T6s yet. So he could just, easily just start attacking my shelter, and then other people could start coming over and hitting me as well. Like Mr. Miyagi or anyone at all that, has a grudge against me. So I made sure to not attack him and not scout or anything like that. And now I'm just taunting him, I'm just goading him at this point because I think it's funny, like how childish and how stupid do you have to be? How butthurt do you have to be to hold a grudge? Like literally a week and a half later, he's still holding this grudge of me. Basically, I told him straight up, okay? And I'm going to actually show you guys the conversation right now that him and I had, okay? This is why he did that. I'm going to show you guys right now. All right, so I go to message him saying how pathetic you are for trying to attack me like that for no reason. And I sent the message, and then it says you've been blocked by the other player. So he blocked me. Let me just say this. We were never friends. He was never on my friends list. We never talked. Like there's no reason for him to have me blocked. I don't even know when he blocked me, but this is the first time that I'm getting wind that he blocked me. So that was today. We're going back. That was today, and today is like, what's today? Today is 6/23, okay? So 6/23. Don't worry about reading that conversation between Carnage and I, because we're going to get there. You're going to see it anyways. But right here, the last time him and I spoke was on 6/13, so that's almost 10 days ago. And that was during Alliance League. That was during the time I tried to strike a deal with him to save us both some resources for that event. So I'm going to scroll. I decide to give you guys a little bit of context today of just how dumb this guy is, because I tried to be nice to him and I tried to save us both some resources here. And I'm going to show you guys this conversation. So this was the previous month's Alliance League. He finished with 11,000 points. I congratulated him on it because he won. It was fair and square. There was really no competition. And that was the end of it. He ignored me, of course. So, like a real, humble champion would, he just ignored my message. So I let it go, and then I said, okay, I'm going to come back with a vengeance next time. I want to win. And I also want to beat this Vulcan asshole. So I told him, we both had 10,000 points. And this is kind of the backstory going into this conversation. This is for Alliance League. We both had 10,000 points. This was like day 2. And I decided, this guy's really pushing to catch up to me here. I was ahead by like 2,000 points. he started doing all these missions that you wouldn't normally take to try and catch up to someone. I had a bunch of T5 troops that need T4 troops that needed to be upgraded to T5s. Like I had just unlocked my armored Hummers, which is my T5 cars, and I had like 300,000 T4 cars that just needed to be upgraded to T5. So I was taking the troop training missions because it was not costing me like really anything at all to upgrade these troops and complete these missions. And he was taking these absurd missions like do 100 honing chips. And you have to realize this guy is a free to play player. Like this guy doesn't have the resource capability that I do. This guy is literally just a free to play player. The last time he bought a pack was like a month ago, and it was for like 100 gold. Like that's his Alliance Vault history. So let's continue with this conversation here. So at the point I have 10, we're both at 10K, and I realized that he is not going to stop pressing. So I decided to try and strike a deal with this gentleman. So I said to him, if you let me win this time, I will let you win next time. He goes on, and then I say, otherwise we are just wasting resources for no reason. Literally wasting resources to win 5 hero fragments, dude. That's what him and I are competing for at this point. 5 hero fragments. Crazy, dude. So he goes, I won't give up after spending that much. If you had said it earlier, I would have let it go. Trying to high road me here as if this was my fault that I didn't tell him earlier. He goes, I will not interfere. And now he's counter offering me. He goes, I will not interfere in any way next time. Then you will get first place, my brother. If you had said it at the beginning without spending this much, I would have allowed it, as if this is his decision. This guy's funny. After spending this much, I can't take a step back. I'll leave you to it next time anyway. I won't get into a competition next time. Which point I said, I was 2,000 points ahead of you before you started taking unnecessary missions to catch up. It's not my fault. So again, I'm just trying to remind him that I was ahead of you, well ahead of you. It's no effort for me to continue bashing you with these huge point missions. I think I was getting between like 670 to 685 points per mission by doing these training missions. So anyways, continuing on here, I said, I'm offering you a free win in the next one, or I will win both. That was my counter offer to his counter offer. You either let me win this one, or I'm going to win this one and the next one. So you can decide. At this point, he lost his mind. He goes, you know that I haven't stopped for months, and I won't stop. You can be ahead. I'm a working person. I came in the evening and completed the score. Then let it be known, I said. We will fight for it, but I offered you a deal and you declined. At which point he goes on to say, you made this offer too late. Again, stating some ridiculous rhetoric here. If it had been earlier, I wouldn't have turned you down. Let's compete. It's no problem at all. I said to him, it'll be vastly more expensive for you. For me, it's free. You can change your mind at any time today or the offer is off the table. At this point, I was sitting on like 700 days worth of speed ups, and I still had like 3.5 months to save for TC. This is why I'm telling him, like, bro, like you're in way over your head here. You're not gonna win. Like, just stop. Do us both a favor and stop, because I'm not gonna let you win. And if you continue to act like a dickhead, I'm gonna beat you in the next one too. Is basically what I was telling him here. If he had come to me with the deal before I had to go into his inbox and request that he stop, like that he's just cease and desist, basically, I would have accepted it. But he's trying to make me look like the bad guy because I didn't contact him sooner, as if this was his event. You know, it's his world and we're just living in it, right? We're expected to know and do as he says, even without him telling us. And that's like, at this point, it's about principle and it's just about pride. There's no 5 hero fragments at this point. It's just beat this guy into the ground. And at this point in this conversation, I'm also telling the leader of the alliance, one of the leaders, Snow, of this guy's ignorance. And Snow just says, yes, he's a very selfish person. Bury his nose into the ground, dude. Like, show him what you're made of. So that's all he said, and didn't really get involved in it. And I continued to say here, you have a guaranteed second place. I'm trying to reason with him as best I can, but he's just not listening. Plus, the translator's not my friend either. So I don't even know what the hell he's seeing on his screen when I'm sending him all this shit. I said, save all these extra resources. My offer is still very generous. Like, if he was to go toe to toe with me for the next 3 days, beyond 10k points, it would have cost us each like another 300 or 400 days worth of speed up. So thankfully he desisted finally on the final day, but it took 2 more days of going full out, like battling top level missions that were not spend money on packs missions, which actually I ended up getting into because I also had some packs to purchase as well, which he doesn't do. So I'm going to be beat. That's another warning that I had for him was like, you're in over your head here, dude. You don't know who you're dealing with. Just stop. So he wouldn't listen to me. So he said, I said, my offer is very generous. I could not have made the offer if more than 2 people were competing. So let's say like 3 or 4 people were all at the same amount of points right at the top, right? Then I couldn't have made that deal. Like I had to wait and see what 3rd and 4th place was doing, and they were nowhere near us. So at that point I realized it's just this guy and me. It's time to offer a deal. That's when the deal can be offered, but not before. So that's all I want to say about that. So he says, if you had said it before, it would have been possible. So he's just going on again, just repeating himself over again. I won't participate in your second offer next time either. So basically saying, if you make this offer again in the next Alliance League, he's going to decline it again. So he's now just being a child. He says, then you will be first. The first, my offer is this. I have no freaking clue what he's saying at that point. So I just said, I decline your counter offer and there will be no offers in the future. Good luck, brother. That was the end of it for me. He said, tell me how you wish. I have no freaking clue what he's saying at that point. I just said, no hard feelings. It is what it is. I just wanted to save us some resources, but now I look forward to the extra spending. So that was the end of that conversation. And then we went into Alliance chat afterward. It was brought up in Alliance chat afterward. We had a big discussion about it in Alliance chat afterward, at which point he just completely lost his mind at me in Alliance chat. And there was a big disagreement in Alliance chat. Some very choice words were exchanged. I can't remember exactly what was said because it was many days ago in Alliance chat, but that was basically the end of Volcan and I's discussion. And it looks like he blocked me. I don't know at what point he blocked me, but for sure I know all I can remember is after that discussion in Alliance chat that day, I remember it did not end on good terms. That's all I have to say about that. So he went ahead and blocked me, and I ended up sending him flowers after this. I sent him like 5 loads of flowers to console his little fairy ass and his childish ways. I didn't record that, but if we go over here to the messages, you'll see that I did do that. I delivered him 5 flowers, SpongeBob special. You've been blocked by the other player. Send him another one. You've been blocked by the other player. Well, folks, at least you know how to tell. I did not realize this, but now you know how to. Now you actually legitimately get to see that you've been blocked by the other player. I didn't know that that was even a thing. I've never been blocked by anyone before. I usually get along with everybody in this game, but this guy is just a character. He just like a dog with a bone, man. When he wants to be right, he does not let it go. So anyways, moving on from Volcan, And it was at that point I went back into Abella's messages, um, and said to her, "So now Vulcan is allowed to attack me? I think you've completely lost your mind over there." And then I showed her the battle report, and I said, "By the way, I'm recording all this on video. The entire community is going to see how pathetic your alliance is now." I've been completely reasonable with them this whole time. I've tried to reason with them, and every time I try to be nice to them or I try to do something that shows any care or concern for them whatsoever, it just seems to get thrown in my face or somehow get turned around on me like I'm the bad guy or I'm the dickhead. And any concern about these issues that I've ever raised, they just get brushed under the rug or just disregarded as like, oh, whatever, it's just black, whatever, it's not a big deal. And they just move on from it. But if it was me doing these things to these other people, I would be getting burned, dude. And here I am, like, he's trying to burn me because I left the alliance. Now it's his chance, right? To get me before I leave. This is his moment, right? He's been waiting all his life for this moment. Bro, he probably did this. Like, I tell you, I kid you not, bro. When I'm sitting here at my computer, just like I have a dual monitor. This is on one screen here, and then I have my other screen that has like either like YouTube on or like something I'm working on or just something completely different from like I play Raid as well, so maybe I'll have Raid on. But it has nothing to do with Doomsday. So I have Doomsday on one monitor and sometimes I'll just sit here, man, and I'll just watch my shelter just because, like, I'm not literally just sitting here to watch my shelter, but this is just where my mouse happens to be on this game, and I'll just watch. And this was my level of activity for 3 hours straight, dude. Nothing, no farming, just nothing happening in my shelter, shielded up. And as soon as I brought my troops out, literally the moment I brought my troops out, like this, as soon as they're out and I kill the zombie, here comes the Vulcan bolting down the lane as if like he's been literally eyeballing my account to wait to see if I actually come out for like the last 4 or 5 hours. And I wouldn't be shocked if he did, because that's just the type of person he is, dude. Just wants to snake you. So, um, anyways, Abella didn't reply to that. Bella didn't reply to that. Still hasn't replied to it. It's like nighttime there, but she'll reply to it when she wakes up. I know she will. I don't know if that hit was sanctioned by the leaders or if they just did that, if Vulcan just did that because he's a prick. But here's the battle report. Yes, it could have been a lot worse if I wasn't paying attention. I wouldn't expect this from anyone other than Vulcan, but he did it. He even put a March size buff on his troops to make sure that they had the maximum amount of pain when he hit me, when he hit my farmers. 271 of his was wounded to my 214. You can see here he's using T6 troops, and there's my T5s. It should show his T6s. There you go. There's his T6 troops. Like, this guy's just an oddball, man. To have that much hatred, just to have that much burning hatred for a person, I can only imagine what was said behind my back. Like, look at this. I don't have gear. I'm not looking to fight. This guy's got all of his 5-star armaments, like his best armaments on. He is ready to kill my whole million troops that I had out there, dude. Like, this guy's just not a good guy, dude. And you know what the funny thing is? This is the funny thing. This guy's been playing for like 2 years. I have a higher vehicle than him already. I have the exact same vehicle as him. Level 10 and level 8. How sad is that? I mean, I guess he is free to play, but just pathetic. He has a Z3 Dickie. I never got that. So he does spend a little bit on the game. There's his hero gear. Not very good. Leveling everything up randomly. It's just like, this guy has no idea what he's doing, dude. No clue how to play the game. So I decide, give this broken man some flowers. Maybe that'll cheer up his day. But it turns out he blocked me anyway, so I don't know if he ever did receive those. There, I'm showing the stats on his stuff now. Rally damage on his weapon. Garrison damage. You saw that at the bottom of his weapon there. Garrison and rally on the same weapon. Like, this guy doesn't even have a good garrison or rally. Rally attack on his pants. Rally attack on his backpack. This guy doesn't have any rally heroes. I don't know why he doesn't even have a rally hero. So anyway, I don't want to talk about this guy anymore. He's gotten enough clout. That's Volcan 35, everybody. Scumbag. Soon after that happened, Uger. This is one of the Alliance R4s. Rider account, 188 million might, never shows up for events, dead weight, never plays events. Anytime he comes into the Alliance chat, he's bitching about something, telling someone off, sending 45 messages in a row, complaining or going insane, just talking nonsense. He comes in and he to my inbox. We've never spoke. I've never spoke to this guy. Ever. Since I've been here. He says, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm leaving your alliance and I'm leaving the server after AR. Why? Why is Volcan attacking me?" He says, "Why?" In response to, "I'm leaving your server." I didn't do anything. I have it all recorded on video. It's not about... See, this is what you fail to realize. People out there saying, "Oh, it's only 4,000 troops. Why are you complaining?" It's not about the troops, dude. It's the principle. It's the principle and the intent of the action. It's what he wanted to do with those troops. He wanted to kill 1 million of my troops for no reason at all. Other than just the fact that he's butthurt because I beat him in Alliance League, dude. I beat him fair and square. I offered him a deal. He declined the deal because he didn't believe that I could win. And he lost in spades and then some. And never once did he ever congratulate me for my legitimate win. He's just mad because it was his competition to win and I didn't ask him permission to win it. I should have done that. Scumbag. I said, because I got an offer from MDGR, that's why I'm leaving. He says, "Okay. Tomorrow you move." This is where he starts to go off the wall. "Tomorrow you move. Move as soon as possible." Like all those other shelters I just showed you are just scattered around his property. He doesn't give a shit about them. But he wants me to move now all of a sudden. He doesn't want me to stay here. I said, "I can't. Wait until after AR. Then I'll move servers." He says, "Okay. Move to a far place. I can't allow you to collect here." This guy's a real retard, man. I'm sorry to say it, but he is. He's just a retard. Look at this guy. I said, "I'm not attacking any of your alliance. Do not attack me or there will be bigger problems." And he starts laughing hysterically. You guys are going to laugh after you see how he changes his tune here really quickly. I said, "I can't move past the checkpoints." He said, "There will be no problem at all." I said, "The game doesn't let me." He said, "Move to a faraway place." I said, and this is in my mind, I know that Mr. Miyagi and Volcan are already like itching to get at my shelter as soon as they possibly can. And I know Miyagi would as well, because Miyagi already doesn't like me and Miyagi already attacks other random shelters in the server that are vacated. And he would love to just get a chance to attack my shelter. So, and he finds shelters that are like in the most inconspicuous of places. So I said, "Mr. Miyagi will find me no matter where I go. Like, I'm not safe, dude, wherever I go. I may as well just stay right beside you all. Like, if you're going to attack me anyways, what's the fucking point of me moving, dude?" That's kind of my mentality here. Like, And then he starts pointing out places that I can move to. I said, I'll just keep a shield up. Like, don't worry about it. Like, I've not attacked anyone at this point. I'm not attacking any of his farmers. None of his farmers should be interacted with. He doesn't have any battle reports of me attacking anyone in his alliance, and I don't plan to. I just want to leave in peace and be left alone. And I'm being treated like shit for what reason? I have no clue, dude, at this point. They're just trying to strong arm me for no reason at all, dude. He says, you can move to the position I shot. If I move, I said, if I move there and receive further attacks, this will not be the last you'll hear from me. And he said, move there. Keep your secrets to yourself. And at that point, I said, okay, he's being a dickhead. I'm going to be a dickhead back. So I said, I think I'll stay where I am right now. And he said, move. I will not allow you to collect resources. Stone. I said, I'm stuck. I can't move. I don't care about resources. Like, I'm not going to farm, dude. If you truly care about that, I'm not going to farm. I don't care. I have over 1 billion resources. Like, I don't give a shit. I simply don't want to move. What are you going to do about it, big boy? And he says nothing. I said, exactly. So make like a bird and fly away. And here's Ugar's gear and stuff. I've already shown you guys this, but here it is again. And he starts laughing. And he says, if only you knew how many there are. So I started dancing like a cat. He's the dancing cat. And he says, stupid players like you, and then he uses this one on me. Kind of funny, but at this point I'm beyond pleasantries with this dickhead. I said, you're a thorn in my side, please leave me alone, dude. And he just puts this, one of my personal favorite cat emojis, actually. I said to him, this is exactly why I'm leaving your alliance, people like you. And he said, may happiness be wherever you go. Now, at this point, I've already, like, before I messaged Carnage, like, a while back, and I believe this is the point where Carnage starts to reach through to these people, if I'm not mistaken. Because he reaches out to me as well. And I'm going to show you guys that before continuing with that video. So, okay, so Carnage asked me for the location. And asked me, I said, now they're trying to attack me. He says who, so I told him who it was and told him the location. And I told him why, and he just laughed. Yeah, I said I was out killing zombies and this meathead sends a full march of 300k T6 right at me, so I tried running back to my shelter. And then he laughed because I beat him in Alliance League. He laughed at that. He said, and that's when he said, I talked with Ugar. Hopefully no one will attack you. And you're going to notice a big change in Ugar's prerogative, the way he starts talking to me now. I'm pretty sure this is where Carnage hit him, because this is where Ugar starts to, like, really change his tune. He says, may happiness be with you wherever you go. I said, yeah, I'm sure you really mean that. Just like Abella really meant she respects my decision to leave. And then allow Volcan to attack me for no reason. Good luck to you, my friend. Just trying to be cordial. Don't want to start nothing with him. I just want this conversation and this whole situation to be over. It's already gone way too far. He says, take care of yourself. Like, where is this all coming from? He's not telling me to move anymore. He's not telling me where I can go and how stupid I am. He says, I'm a little upset. Sorry, brother. Oh, this is funny. You can come back whenever you want. So now he's giving me a full open invitation to return to RAEM whenever I want. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. How do I ever feel honored and relish in the moment. The moment I can rejoin RAEM, dude. Oh, wow. Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait. If you want to come back, I'm here. Write to me. Oh, thank you, brother. I'm so honored by your offer. Thank you so much. So touched by that message. Imagine having real Alliance members to back you up, right? Ones that even knew me for 2 days are fucking having my back more than this dickhead who's known me for almost 6 months and has never said a goddamn word to me can do in fucking 6 months. Pathetic, man. I said I wouldn't even if I could, because now I see the true colors of your hateful Alliance members towards me. Carnage is just asking for the location there. But I'm pretty sure he's already talked to someone. Like, there's no way that Uger, unless Uger has a major personality disorder, which I sometimes have considered he could, because he comes into the Alliance and literally does this all the time. Like, he'll just go crazy on one side. Like, he'll go far left, like insulting and angry and forceful, and then come right back and start like apologizing and being nice. Like, I don't know this guy from all on the ground, so I don't know. It could have been that, or it could have been just him talking to Carnage. As long as I am here, no one can do anything to you, he says. Like, what? Like, I don't trust a word he says at this point. Everyone has their troubles. There's no need to feel hatred. Like, I don't understand what the hell, dude, is going on at this point. This is a game. Take care of yourself, brother. May strength always be with you. Yep. My best friend, Uger. All of a sudden. Funny how that works, eh? And I want to make this very clear. I didn't call Carnage to start shit. I called Carnage to end shit, because I want to just let him know these guys are fucking with me. I'm not liking this at all. And I was hoping that there was maybe something he could say. Maybe he has a little more pull than I would with my dinky little 94 million might account. And sure enough, as soon as he jumped on and started talking to them, Uger stopped bitching at me. And yeah, this was after I recorded this, after that conversation with Carnage. So now I'm just showing you guys exactly what was said. I'm telling you, man, they're extremely petty and hateful towards me. They're one of the big reasons. I meant to say that's one of the biggest reasons I wanted to leave. And I just thanked him. Thanks, I'll keep... He said, no one will attack you, hopefully. I said, thanks, I'll keep on high alert anyways. Meaning I'll keep my shields up the entire time I'm here. It's unfortunate that I have to do that. But apparently all the problems that could have been resolved, that got brushed under the rug when I was in the Alliance, that I tried to take care of, are all now just coming out in spades as soon as I leave the Alliance. I'm like some like fresh meat. People are just like waiting to like crazy, man. I've never done anything to those people other than just like stand up for myself and, try and get what, I deserve. If that's even the right way to say it, just looking out for myself and trying to keep things fair, and they're just selfish. They don't think the same. So and then I said, as soon as you started talking with Uger, he quickly changed his tune and began apologizing, saying I could go back if I wanted. He's sorry, etc., etc. I was like, whatever, dude, but I'm not coming back, but thanks. And he thought that was funny. And he's German. I don't know what the hell he was meaning to say here. I think he meant to say, well, probably they respect me, is what he was meaning to say there, which would make more sense than this. Because honestly, I really don't think he has a whole lot of respect for them after, especially if he watches this video and sees exactly how everything transpired. Like, I think, honestly, bro, like, not that I've been a saint here, but I think I've maintained my dignity and I've maintained a lot of Like, I've held my tongue quite a few times here with this alliance throughout all these childish BS situations that could have been prevented, that I tried preventing just by talking to these people. And they're just, you know, they're just not respectful. That's all it boils down to. You know, they want what they want. And if I get in the way, then they just punch me, you know, and they're not hurting me though. That's the problem. And that's what's bothering them even more is like, they're not getting to me. I'm not being affected by these people quite as much as they want me to be. And it's pissing them off. You know, it's pissing them off. So they wanted to get a reaction out of me. They're not getting a reaction out of me. I'm not gonna, you know, it's not happening. So I just think it's funny how they're acting. And I want to post that. I wanted to post that because this is why people don't want to join. They've done this to other people too. I'm exposing this alliance right now. Do not join this alliance, man. Like, enter at your own risk. I tried here, bro. I'm one of the most chill guys, one of the most reasonable people you'll ever meet, dude. And I couldn't handle the fucking behaviors here. So, keep that in mind. I said, I don't know. He was mean to me until you showed up, but now he's being all nice. And that was pretty much the end of the conversation. That was really it. And yeah, that's all she wrote for now, guys. That's where we're gonna leave it, I think, for now. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that video. Smash the like button if you did, and leave a comment if you did. I don't know, dude. I'm happy to just be moving on finally to an alliance that actually cares about competition, but also, you know, seems to give a shit about their members as well. So it's early, but I think there's a lot of promise going to this new alliance, and I don't like the way that our AEM handled me leaving. I think it was just it's very odd the way that they lashed out at me, but are now saying things like, oh, you can come back anytime you want, and I'm sorry, but they're like literally attacking me as I'm like trying to like just, you know, remain peaceful and keep to myself. It just reeks of toxicity. I don't know, dude. I think I handled myself better than a lot of people would have in this situation. It may not be over yet, but I really do hope it's over. If there's any more to add to this story, if anything more transpires, I'll definitely keep you guys updated. But for now, this is where the story ends for Black Dragon and RIEM in this heaping pile of cow dung that just needs to be shipped off to the garbage dump. So if you guys like this video, thank you for watching. I'm glad you enjoyed it, and hopefully we won't see too many of these in the future, but as with these kind of games, you know that it will happen again, man. That's the whole premise of these games. People talk, and wherever people are gathered, you're gonna have problems. So, yeah, we'll see you guys all in AR. I'll be hopefully filming my first AR with the new alliance coming up this week. So stay tuned for that, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out.